Thine be the glory. I've been accused of singing the last verse of Thine be the glory on Easter Sunday as I'm leaving the service. And frankly, that is laughable.
Thine be the glory.
I don't know exactly who has complained, but it's potentially a clergy disciplinary measure. The fact that someone would report me to the authorities over this is quite upsetting, because I have been personally very responsible. Here are our COVID guidelines. We had our own track and trace. We had the QR codes. We put sanitizer in the church hall. I personally put these little red markers, and I've made sure that people have been safe. When I read the accusation, I just thought, this is a joke. You know what, on Easter Sunday, I can't pick up the cross and say, Thine be the glory, risen conquering Son. It was just an instinctive reaction to sing that song. Welcome to All Saints Brankscome Park. Here's our automatic hand sanitizer dispenser. It does need batteries, however. Hello, my name's Charlie Boyle, and I've been the vicar here at All Saints Brankscome Park since September 2013. If you're coming into church, then we ask you to fill in one of these visitor slips. I love the people that I serve, and I love the variety of the role that I do here at All Saints. I personally put these little red markers to remind people of the distances that they should be kept apart from other people. I think if we're honest, most people struggled a lot during COVID. The loneliness really was the main thing that people suffered from. A lack of gathering, a lack of being able to be community. We have a number of elderly folk in our community who don't do online for whatever reason. They can't manage the technology, they can't manage the change. And therefore I thought it was really important to make sure that they weren't isolated, that they were provided for, and that our church was a beacon of light and hope. So this is where we had our carol singing on Christmas Eve.
You can see that Charlie went so risk assessment crazy that he actually painted 2-metre distancing lines. It's sad to think that during this time, Charlie's made such a massive effort to get out there, think creatively, laying on the Christmas Eve experience, then the Easter experience. And as a result of that, he's just got criticism and criticism and criticism, rather than being celebrated for what we've tried to do to evangelise and to reach out into the community.
I don't think I was careless. I think as time went on, I felt that actually we'd put in place a number of measures to make sure that people had a secure church environment. We had our own sort of form of track and trace in the church, and we had the QR codes everywhere. We put sanitizer in the church hall. I just wanted you to see our COVID sign-in QR code along with the hand dispenser, which I helped put up. Well, I put it up first time, but I didn't do a very good job, so they put it up again, because I'm not very good at DIY. We did a good job of making sure that our space was really secure. In fact, even dear Bishop Nicholas Holtham came to a service that I'd invited him to, and he said, I can see you've done a good job of making this church really safe, a safe space in which to worship. But people have complained about me nonetheless to the authorities, and I think that's really been quite hurtful, because they could have approached me direct. I've been accused of failing to take a proper lead on risk assessments and the COVID regulations, as well as singing in church, hugging, not keeping a social distance, recording a sermon in a beach hut, and not wearing a mask in a consistent way. Now, actually, all of these things I can defend. For example, I recorded a sermon from a beach hut. Well, I didn't know that that was against the law at the time. So, good morning. I thought it was a good idea because, firstly, we were finding that during the lockdown, people, especially families with young children, were not taking to Zoom. We were losing them, and I wanted to have a backdrop that was more interesting. So let us not quarrel and resolve our arguments with our loved ones. And actually lots of people said, oh, I really like the sermon with the dog walkers, the joggers, the cyclists, when you did it from the beach hut. The service in which I'm accused of singing at the end of was the third service of Easter Sunday, and it was a band-led informal communion service. I made efforts to wear a mask when going close to people and putting on gloves when giving out communion. And I don't know, I guess it was the relief of having all the services finished on Easter Sunday that led me to take up my homemade cross and sing Thine Be the Glory. You know, it's a sense of sort of joy, giving out to the congregation and those who are watching online. So I was sitting here, I seem to remember, and this is where the service took place, and I'd already done the communion. It was just at the end of the service. I picked up the cross, lifted it high, and then sang the last bit of Thine Be the Glory. Thine be the glory, risen conquering Son. And there weren't many people here. They were not even near me, really. The way that I've been treated personally by the Diocese of Salisbury has been very heavy-handed, because I don't know exactly who has complained, but they've continued with this path of this is the process that we want to go down, when really what we could have had is a conversation over the phone.
It seems that the diocese are very, very keen for us to leave, and they're just using these really small COVID mishaps to move us on, and not really fully recognising how committed we are to this parish and the work that we've begun and the work that we very much want to continue with.